I am back with another little crochet Christmas item. I should have done this yesterday after I'd done the little hat, but as I mentioned then, I did have to go to the dentist. Thankfully I didn't have to have a tooth out, but I am on antibiotics now because of an infection. So fingers crossed next couple of days it will clear up. This is what we're going to be having a go at today. Little Christmas pudding, you think? I think this gives you a little clue. It's, again, a little surprise. We have a Ferrero Rocher in there, and what I thought would be quite sweet with this is we could hang them on the tree. So I've got a little thing here, pop them in a stocking for somebody, that would look really cute as well. But I thought hanging up on either a Christmas tree or a garland or something like that would also be nice. So it is really quick, it is really simple. Again, the stitches, they are just double crochets, they are just trebles. Remember, we are UK terms, so we do have to watch out for that. And we have got double knit yarn. So I have a brown for its body, a couple of scraps of red for the little berry, green for the little leaves, and obviously our white. I've used a glitter white. You don't have to use a glitter white, but I have a colour I've got. I like using it, so that is why I have done it. So, oh, and I drop it. But basically, we can pop out our little Ferrero Rocher. So you've just got this little cover that is sitting like that, which is quite cute. So you can reuse it every year and fill them. If you did loads of them, you could fill a full tree full of little chocolates of various sizes. Right, so I'm going to pop that there, and we're going to move that out of the way before I decide I'm eating it. We're going to use this, in fact we'll use this one for measurement because I've already squished that one a little bit, and we're going to get on. We've got our stitch marker, we have our needle, and we have a 3.5, let's see, can you see okay? Right, 3.5 millimeter crochet hook there. Our scissors and our little bit of thread for hanging up. Now I'm just adjusting my position here because I'm trying to get a little bit closer, because I thought I was videoing towards the screen, but for some reason when I look at it on my camera, I'm like here, it looks central, but when I'm actually putting the video up, it looks like I'm very much lower, so I'm not quite sure whether it's just the angle I'm trying to look at it. So I'm going to be trying to lean forward a little bit. Just cheap yarn these are, so I'm going to start with the brown there. Looks like the little knot in the yarn there, we'll get rid of that. And I'm going to start with my slip knot, as always, and onto my hook, but not too tightly. Now I'm going to be doing exactly the same as I do with all my other amigurumi. It starts exactly the same as my larger, the chocolate orange covers. So you'll know by now, if you've been watching me, how this is going to work. So, but this is quicker because it's a lot smaller and there's not as much increasing. So we're going to start with our 2 chain, and into that first of that 2 chain, we're going to be doing, if I can get it in there, 6 double crochets. Let me just tighten that up a little. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 6. Tighten up my slip knot just to close that little hole up, and then we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into every one of those 6, so we will end up with 12 stitches. The first one's always a little bit harder to find, so in we go. I've got it. So we have 2 double crochets in the first one, and in the second one, that's 2 in the third one, 2 in number 4. Actually, I don't think that stitch looked right. I don't know, what did I do there? Let me take that back out. I'll try that again. I don't know what I did there. It just didn't feel right. So I think that's number 4. We'll double check in a minute. Number 5 and number 6. Right, because I did stop there and I sort of lost count a little bit, I'm going to double check. I always count from the back round rather than the other way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 stitches, so I did actually pick it up okay. A little bit harder for you to see in the brown. I'm hoping it's going to be okay, but without me doing a bright pink Christmas pudding, I don't think that I'd quite work. In fact though, you could do this in different colours and just make baubles. Just lots of little sort of variegated yarn, glittery yarns, fluffy yarns, all sorts of different ones, and make cute little baubles for your tree just to pop some sweets in. So I think that might be quite a nice idea as well. So we have 12 stitches. We're going to do the same again, 2 in every single one of those 12. So we're going to end up with 24 stitches. So we have 1, so it's 2 in every single one, 2 double crochets, 2, 3, 4, remember we're doing 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a couple more, 10, just 2 more, 11, remember 2 in each, I nearly didn't then, did I? And 12. So we now have 24 stitches. Now, if you're in a quiet room or there's nobody disturbing you, you don't have to pop a stitch marker in here. Because I'm talking, I am going to pop a stitch marker in. So I'm popping one of my new ones in from What Mustard Made. A cute little pussycat there. We're now going to do just 1 double crochet into each stitch. So I'm going to just use the stitch marker. I'm not going to count, but you have 24 stitches. So you know 24 stitches is 1 round. I'm going to use the stitch marker as my marker. That's what it's for, rather than anything else. And all we're going to do is X amount of DC rounds. Now, depending on your tension, this can alter. I said this with the other one, depending on what you're doing. So rather than me go, you do X amount, we're going to use this as a measurement instead. So we're going to need a few rounds. So let's see what we get out of it and see how it measures up. It should only make a difference of maybe a round or 2 depending on what your tension's like, but it's something to be aware of whenever you're doing anybody else's pattern. There is a good chance, depending on your tension, that it's going to come out a different size to that person. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you need to adjust, this is easy to adjust because really it's just the length that we would be adjusting on. It's a little bit annoying if it's a garment and you're doing it. This is why I don't really do garments, because it's always that, oh, it's come out too small, even for the grandchildren when I've done it, because my work is too tight. So that was actually 1 round. In fact, shall we mark it down? I will mark it down as we go to see. But the beauty of crochet, it is so flexible. So if it doesn't quite work, or you need to add in an extra row or take a row out, you can do. There is no right or wrong with it, especially when we're doing something like this. Well, according to the camera, I'm definitely staying more central, so fingers crossed when I upload it that will be the case, because I know it has been an issue with me to try and keep in position. So we're on our 2nd round now. We are almost there. Can't believe it's not many more weeks till Christmas. What are we on? 7 weeks? 6 weeks? I'm not 100% sure. I think probably towards 6, because it was 7 last time somebody spoke to me about it. So we are counting down if you are celebrating Christmas. So we need to start looking at what we're doing. Right, another stitch maybe. I'm going to move my stitch marker up, because I think I put it in a little bit crooked, so it wasn't really indicating where I was going. Right, another round. So that was only 2 rounds. As you can see, we're still nowhere near enough. So we don't really need to measure on it just yet. I haven't actually timed myself how long it takes to make one of these. So again, I can't see the clock from this angle, but I'll be interested to see how long it does actually take. It is definitely quick. It's definitely not going to take you long. I think they make quite sweet little gifts. Obviously you wouldn't be using a Ferrero Rocher if you have any nut allergies or anything, but I'm sure there are other sweets out there of roughly the same proportions. Or if you do use another sweet, again, it's just adjusting very fractionally. So that's our third round. You can see it's starting to curve round. We don't want it that way around though, so we need to push it out because we need it that way. Just like I'm making one of my tiny hats at the moment. I had contemplated it and I was wondering whether it would make a hat. But it's too big for my tinies and too small for my big ones. But perhaps I could make a Christmas pudding hat. I had thought about it for the Smart Doll. Thought that would be quite cute because I have done a chocolate orange Christmas pudding pattern. It does have a lot more detail to it, so it is actually on my Etsy page as a pattern to buy, but because it's got a few more steps in it and things like that, so I've had to do the pattern as well for that one. But it's not far off the size for a head, so I might have to think about that. The speed Christmas is coming up on us. We'll be in January before I realise it. Right, so that's another one. So we're on 4 rounds now. I would say we're still nowhere near. So let's have a look. Oh, it's sitting in nicely. Can you see? So it's just sitting in like a little basket at the moment. So looking at that, you can roughly guess maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more rounds. Let's see. Let's see if that works. Because we do need one little decrease round just to curve it round on its bottom so that the chocolate doesn't fall out. So I reckon another 3 would probably do it. But just keep measuring on your particular sweet and see whether it will actually fit. I've been really naughty. I bought a box because I could only get a box. Oh dear. That's my excuse anyway. And I said, I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to put them away for Christmas. I'll just take the 2 out for measurement. These are the only 2 left now. I do have quite a liking for Ferrero Rocher, unfortunately. They're so easy to eat though. They're barely a mouthful. Right, we have 5 rounds. We're going to do 1 more and then I'm going to check on my measurements. Around we go. Oh, or maybe not, just missed the stitch. Make sure you do pick up both. It does make a difference. You can do just a front or a back stitch and it will actually give you a texture. That is a system you can do. It is actually a legitimate stitch. But if you're just doing bog standard double crochets, you need to make sure you pick up both layers because it makes it look a lot neater, that's all. I know because I'm self-taught, God, it seems like forever ago, but when I did, I kept going into just the front loop, and for ages I wondered why my work was like lumpy and other people's weren't. It's basically because that's what I kept doing. You see how we're fitting in nicely? In fact, I would say that is it, because we do need a decrease round, because otherwise that's going to fall out quite easily. So that was 6 rounds of double crochet, and 6 rounds fitted mine. 5 maybe yours, you may need 7. Everybody's different on that. So we're going to do a little bit of a decrease. Basically we're going to do two together. I've written 3 there. I'm just trying to see what I've written. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm looking down on the pattern and trying to work out why I hadn't written down how many rounds, because I had, because I'm actually looking at the frosting part of the pattern. It's exact, that shows how exactly the same it is. So when you come to do the frosting, up to a certain point it's exactly the same as this, and I had actually written down that it was 6 rounds. We're going to do 2 together, 4 double crochets 4 times. So 2 together, we go in, we pull out, we've got 2. We go into the next one, we pull through, we should have 3. Pull the yarn through, all 3. And then just 1 in each of the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do 2 together again. In, pull through, 2 on the hook, into the next one, pull through, 3 on the hook, pull through all 3, then 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, another one, 2 together, 2, and we should have 3, pull it through all 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4. We've got one more decrease, 2 together and 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to take my stitch marker out now. Now I've got to decide, and I've just knocked the camera again. That's the only problem. I'm trying to put it above me, but it's actually in the way of my arm, so I'm sort of knocking it a little bit. Let's have a little check how we fit in here. I think that's okay. I'm going to do just one more round of double crochet. See, this one has actually come out very fractionally looser than my first one for whatever reason. I do find that happens sometimes though. Right, let's have a look. So we lost 4, so we've only got 20 stitches now. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, nearly 12, 12, 12, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 2 more, 19 and 20. And then I'm going to do is just a slip stitch in my last one, just because I feel it is neater if I do that. So I'm going to cut my yarn. Now we're going to put our rush in. We've already checked its size, so I'm relatively happy with that. So it's tightened it up a little bit, so it needs to be so we can squeeze it a little bit in, because it doesn't want to be falling out. So we just flatten it round, and that's not going to come out of there. You need to make sure. If yours is very loose at this point, you could do maybe 2 more decreases. Just make sure they're evenly distributed, but I think that's okay. That's not going anywhere. So that's our little body for our Christmas pudding. We now need our topping, and you've probably just seen the pattern because I parted it on the last one. So I've only wound off this tiny bit of ball, so it's going to probably fly everywhere while I'm trying to work with it. Should have got my basket again to pop it in, never mind. So my slip knot on 2 chain, exactly the same as the body, 6 double crochets in, watch this yarn, it can split, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, pull it tight. Right, 2 double crochets into every single crochet. Single, shouldn't use the term single. Individual shall we use? We'll use the word individual crochet stitch. So we have 2. So it's got a filament in this, it's very easy to catch. So that's 2 in the second one, 2 in the third one, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, we're nearly round, and 2 in the sixth. So we have 12 stitches now. We need more. Like with its body, we're going to do another set of 2 in each one. So we have 2, and remember we've got 12 stitches now. So 12 times 2, we're going to end up with our 24 stitches. That's 3, 4, don't forget it is 2 in each one. It's easy done because I've done it before. 6, especially if you get distracted. 7, 8, 9, nearly there, 10, just 2 more, 11 and 12. Now that is as much as I'm going to do as far as increasing is concerned. I'm not going to pop my stitch marker in because I'm only going to do 1 round of double crochet. So we've got 24 stitches, so we do need to count on this one, so bear with me while I count. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway, 11, well we're halfway now, 12 because we've got 24, remember, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 more, 21, 22, 23 and 24. So we've got our little curve coming. I'm just going to pull that tight again in the center. Now we need a little bit of shaping round, so we get these little dips all the way round. So to do that, it's very, very simple. The next stitch is going to contain 3 trebles. Remember, if we're doing a treble, yarn round first into the space, pull it through. We have 3. We pull through 2, we pull through 2 and another one and one more. So there was 3 trebles into that single space there. I am now going to do 5. I nearly did a double crochet then. I don't want a double crochet. I want a slip stitch because it takes it closer to the work. So remember, start again. Slip stitch in, pull through, in, pull through, pull through. I do a little twist as I'm doing mine. I find that makes it easier. That's 4. I'm going to do 3 trebles in the next one. 1, 2, 3. I'm hoping I've got enough yarn there. 4 slip stitches, 1 into each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 trebles into the next one. 1, 2, 3. We have our 4 slip stitches next. So in, pull through, straight through that loop. In, pull through, straight through that loop. That's 3 and that's 4. Near the filament, catch them. And 4, that's because I said 4. I was doing 3 trebles into this next one. 2, 3 and 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will do me. Now don't worry, as you can see that has actually come out a bit uneven. I'm not quite sure. I think I may have added a stitch in there, but it doesn't matter because it's supposed to be the icing or the cream or custard or whatever dripping over our pudding. So if it's a little bit lopsided, if anything, that's quite a good thing. So don't over worry about that. Only just did it. Only just. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm not going to put it on yet because I just want to go through the whole of the make, then I'll show you how to make it up. Our berry is really tiny. This is why we've only got this little tiny bit of yarn here. If you don't want to make the berry, you could use a nice bead. That would always look pretty. Or if you've got some holly and berries, you know, little sort of artificial ones, you could pop them on the top. That would look quite good as well. So slip knot, 2 chain, 6 into that first chain, so exactly the same again, aren't we? 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. But this time we're not going to be doing any increasing at all. This is why it gets a little bit fiddly, this one. So that's why I say if you want to use any other system, a red pom-pom would be quite cute. Lots of different ways of doing it. I'm going to just go into 1 double crochet into each of those 6. So keeping it flat to start with is a bit awkward. So that's my 3rd one, my 4th one, number 5 and number 6. And I'm going to do that again. But can you see, because it curves, it starts to get a little bit difficult. So you do have to push it out to be able to see where you're going. So another round in just double crochets. So we've got 6 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we've got a little shape coming there. Now we're just going to decrease twice because again it's very hard to get into it otherwise, and then we can stitch the other bit up. So I'm going to do 2 together. Remember, I don't complete the stitch. Into the second one we have 3 on the hook and we pull through all 3. So it's getting a little fiddly to hold now. And through all three. And I'm going to fasten off there. And that is our berry. You can use a little bit of stuffing if you wish, or you can push your yarn through into it to help it sort of pad out. I found I didn't need it because by the time I'd sewn it in, it was adequate to sit in. So I'm going to actually just get rid of that spare bit because I don't need it. And that's our berry. That was quick. You can do more berries if you want. I'm a large one. I do have more berries, larger berries than that. Our leaf. Slightly brighter green for holly perhaps, but for actual sort of for you to be able to see it, I thought it worked better because my dark green doesn't show up very well, as I found out when I was making something else. So quick and easy leaf, 6 chain. So we've got our slip stitch onto the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, just 6 chain into this first one below, 1 double crochet into the next one, 1 double crochet, but then 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, and double crochet back into that same one. Yeah, we're going to do a double crochet into the next one, a double crochet into the next one, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, double crochet back into the same one. That should leave us 1 stitch for 1 double crochet. Tighten it up and we've done. That's it. That's a leaf. That's how quick that leaf is. We will do it again. It's not a full holly. Sometimes if you're doing a full size holly, you would actually go back down the other side as well. But I think for the size of this, this is more than enough. So that's one. Let's do another one. So you can see how much yarn it doesn't take. It only takes the tiniest of bits. So slip knot onto our hook, 6 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 into this one. So you can see your chain. This is the chain you're coming out of. This is the one that we're not going in. We're going in the next one. Double crochet, double crochet in the next chain, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, back in the same one as we just come out of, double crochet in the next one, double crochet in the next one, 3 chain, 1, 2 and 3, back in that same hole, and just 1 double crochet at the end there, and we've done. Tightening everything up. I think probably sewing in the loose ends is the worst bit with this, which I think it is with most knitting and crochet as well. So there we go. So we've got 2 little leaves there. Now I'm going to sew it up. Now the easiest way I found this was to actually pop it on to the chocolate when you're ready for putting the frosting on. We need to get rid of these 2 little bits first. You may have your own method of sewing in, but essentially all we're doing is threading through. So I've turned it inside out and I'm just going to thread it through the stitches, making sure you're keeping it on this inner side. You don't want it to be showing on the other side. Like that should do, because that's going nowhere. Oh, my scissors are a bit magnetic because they've been near the the needle holder. Does have a proper word, needle minder, I think that's what they call them, isn't it? Oh, can you see what's happened there? Be careful. It's got quite a small eye on this sewing up needle, but I prefer that because at least I get a good point at the other end. So we'll stitch this one in as well. And again, just exactly the same. Just threading through the stitches, but keeping it on that inner side, not allowing it to go on the other bit. So a little snip, turn it round, and let's pop this chocolate in here. Look at it, it's getting a bit squashed because I keep practicing on it. Now that's basically our shape. It's one thing I had wondered though is, can you see how they usually come in like a little tray? If you're really careful, you can pop it on, if I can get it on. So I say it's hard to get it on, but you can get it on without damaging the tray. It does look quite cute. I've tried this a couple of times on this one, so it might come off. But essentially, you can have it in its little tray. It's gone a bit twisted. Or you could take the little tray off, which is easy enough if you do it carefully. Keep the little tray, pop your orange, I was going to say, it's a very small orange, pop it over your Rocher, and then you could always stick that on underneath with a little bit of sort of double-sided tape or something like that. So you could do it either way. So let's pop it on this poor crushed one. So we have our shape there. Make sure it's on nice and comfy. Right, now topping. We don't really need this one. It's going to be underneath it, so we could actually cheat a bit and just cut it off. Let's move all my bits over there. But we don't need to cut this one off. I should have left that fractionally longer, I think, actually. Leave a nice long tail with it because it is easy to sew it on. You can use extra bit of yarn if you have to, but basically, here we go. I want a central position. If you wish, you could use a pin to actually hold it in place because it can be a little bit tricky. But again, it doesn't really matter because it can be slightly lopsided. Right, now I've put that through. Now, can you see I only pick up the top bit when I'm doing my stitching up and round? But because it's actually on my chocolate, it's easier to hold. So I'm just picking it up. A little bit of the brown, top of the white. So little stitches, more surface stitches than big stitches. I'm not going all the way through. I'm not going anywhere at a minute. There we go. I think this chocolate might have actually slightly melted. It feels a bit odd. So can you see how it's coming on now? Yeah? So you're getting your shaping round. I'll just do a couple more stitches because you don't want to watch me stitch it all up. It's just about keeping it nice and neat as you're doing it. And making sure it's staying in the centre because it's very easy, well, that bit's staying in the centre. It's very easy for it to move. That's why maybe a pin in the centre would have been a good idea. Right, so I'm not going to go any further around, but can you see how it's starting to shape? So that's why we get that little sort of flow all the way round we would get. So I'm just going to pop that down a second. Now, as far as these are concerned, we have two ends. We only need one for sewing up. So I'll just show the one. So all I'm going to do is thread through the little bit of crochet we've got. There's not a lot to actually thread through. That's the only problem with this. So I'm going to have to sort of find as much as I can. I don't want to suddenly see any loose ends appearing, so I do need to go quite a way. I think that's probably going to be about it. Trim it. We have our little leaf. Then you can use this part to actually stitch on. I recommend you do pop your leaves on before you bury. I tried it the other way around with the first one and it was quite hard to get in there. So we want a centre point, don't we? Let's have a look. Where should we go? In there. I'm determined not to have that at the right length. There we go. So you can see where your little leaf is. I want that bit up, so I've made sure it's in that position. Doesn't take a lot of stitching, to be honest. It only needs to be anchored, so I'm just going to tie a little knot there. And basically, because if you can try and get between the icing and the base, you can just pull it through and fasten it off. Because my icing's not on properly, that's not 100% working. But you can see we have a little leaf. We're going to pop our other side on, so we've got our little leaf that side, and then the berry gets sewn on itself in the centre there. Yep, so you can sort of see where it's coming from. As I say, I'm not going to make, looks like, see, I think I'm going to run out, so I might have to actually thread up some other yarn. But basically, all the way around first, leaf on, and a little berry on the top. But if you're using artificial or something like that, that's fine as well. In fact, I'm just going to squash. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just squashing the paper down a little bit to make sure it's going to stay in there. I'm going to pop it back into my first one. A little bit of a squeeze. I could leave the Ferrero Rocher logo showing so people know what it is as well, which is quite cute. And this is just a little bit of crochet cotton, crochet thread, or if you've got some clear thread, that would be quite good. Just thread it through. I'm going to pop it through. In fact, I'll tuck it in just under the berry, I think. So we have our folded end and our two loose ends. Our two loose ends I'm just pulling through and pulling tight. Then I can tie a little knot into it. You can't really see it from that angle, but you can see it is hanging as a nice little bauble there. So I think that'd be quite nice to pop on the tree. Not on my tree because we have the dog and she's going to be sniffing at the chocolate, and of course she shouldn't have any chocolate as much as she has pinched it in the past, and thankfully been okay, but you do have to be careful. But maybe in a garland, if you've got a garland hanging on the door, that might be quite cute. I think that would work quite nicely. I mean, if you wanted to, if you're taking roughly what my robin pattern is, you could do the same sort of thing, because this is the body, maybe just a little round tummy, 2 eyes, simplify it, and 2 little wings. That would look quite cute. If you have any ideas or suggestions that you'd like me to do, just please give me a shout and I'll have a go, hopefully. Try and make it all nice and quick and simple. But I'm quite pleased with that one. I've got a few more to finish. I'm going to have to buy another box of Ferrero Rocher now, though. But never mind, Christmas is coming. I'm allowed some more chocolate. That's my excuse again. But if you did enjoy that, please like, subscribe and share. And if you're wanting to see any future videos, pop on that little notification bell, because it will let you know as soon as I've popped something up on there. So there's, like I said, going to be a few things hopefully this week. This is my second one. I'm trying to think what I was going to do. There is a couple of other things I want to do, but it might be just 2 this week. This one should have been yesterday because I did want to do Crochet Wednesdays, but as I say, I had that dentist appointment. But all is good now. So hope to see you soon. Please pop any comments on there. Lovely to hear from you. Interesting to know how many people actually listen to me chattering on, or how many people just fast forward and watch for the pattern. So hope to see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.